Hey there, this is Rising and welcome back to another gun guide. This is a series where we dive deep into all of the important stats for every single weapon in COD Mobile's multiplayer, and towards the end I share some of my recommended class setups that works the best for that gun. And today, as per request, we're covering another buffed weapon in this season. This is the UL736 light machine gun. The UL736 is based on the real-life L86 Light Support Weapon, or LSW in short, which was a British rifle LMG hybrid weapon, part of the SA-80 family. The UL in this game is a base 4 to 6 shot kill weapon, and after the buff, its maximum damage phase got split into 2 phases, and so it now has a total of 5 damage phases altogether. And the gun does a consistent 4-shot all the way till its second damage range, which is 32 meters. And beyond that, you'll get a 5-shot kill anywhere in the body till 55 meters. Further beyond, it reduces to a 6-shot kill, but most of your standard engagements will be happening within that 55-meter mark, and so you don't need to worry about range all that often with this gun. However, what is more important with this is its 3-shot potential, and within the maximum damage range, you'll require 2 shots to the upper torso or arms mixed with another shot anywhere in the body to achieve a 3-shot kill. It is also worth mentioning that headshots are very effective on this gun, requiring just a single headshot in its maximum damage range to reduce to a 3-shot kill, and in the second damage range, you'll require all 3 of your 3 shots to those zones to get that 3-shot kill all the way till 32 meters. And just for the context, this 3-shot range is 7 meters longer than the 3-shot range of the PKM, and it is just 3 meters shorter than that of the RAL MG, which has a much slower fire rate than the UL. And speaking of fire rate, the UL unfortunately has the second slowest rate of fire in its class at 618 rounds per minute. And this is the reason why we're focusing so much on its 3-shot potential rather than its base 4-shot kill. Because if you can get that 3-shot, you'll kill in 194 milliseconds, which is very fast in the current meta. However, its 4-shot time to kill is 291 milliseconds, which is actually quite slow in the current pacing of the game. So you must treat the UL as a 3-shotter and aim towards the chest level as much as possible, because this is by far the best range you'll get from a weapon at this fire rate, and you might want to take the full advantage of this to get the most out of this gun. And combining all of this together, this is what we get on the range chart. And as I said earlier, in its maximum damage range, you'll need 2 shots to the upper torso or arms for a 3-shot kill, and in its second range till 32 meters, you'll require all 3 of your 3 shots, and at longer ranges you have a very impressive 4-shot kill till 45 meters, where you just need to hit a single shot to any of those critical zones. And as we can see, other than the M4 LMG, PKM, and the RAL, the UL has the best 4-shot range out of all the other LMGs, and since it is a hit scan, you won't be facing any problem in hitting those shots at longer ranges. So not only the gun has great performance at close to mid ranges, it also has exceptional performance even at longer ranges. This is one of the most powerful aspects of this gun, which many players haven't realized yet. Lethality wise, this gun is actually on par with the PKM, but there are certain aspects which are holding this gun back, which will come towards the later part of the video. As for the barrels, the 18.2-inch short barrel reduces our ranges by 20%, with barely any upside, so better stay far away from this. The lightweight silencer barrel improves our ranges by 10% and also giving us an integrated suppressor, which is nice. However, the best barrel for range is going to be the 25.4-inch extended barrel, which improves our ranges by 30%, and most importantly, our 3-shot range now goes all the way till 42 meters, which is an extremely competitive range right now. Even though the base range profile of this gun is already very good, you can improve it even further, especially that 3-shot range, which is the main focus for this gun, if you can afford the downsides that it offers, which is primarily to its handling and mobility. And speaking of it, our aim down sight time with the UL is actually the fastest in its class at 330 milliseconds, which is like the ADS time of an assault rifle if you build it very slow. And even for its sprint out time, it is tied with the Hades being the fastest in its class. As for mobility, it is again tied with the Hades being the fastest in its category. So not only the gun has incredible lethality at range, it also features the fastest handling as well as mobility stats in its class. Both of these aspects make the gun an extremely powerful option, which I believe many of the players are not even aware of. As for accuracy, its bullet spread is slightly below the LMG average, but since all the LMGs are quite accurate in this regard, BSA won't be a problem on this gun so much. However, its hipfire spread is above LMG average, but with its slow rate of fire, you might not want to hipfire all the often, unless of course at point blank. Its hit flinch is right about standard for LMGs, and finally its bullet impact is standard. However, what has the most impact on a gun's accuracy is its recoil, and by looking at it, we see that the gun kicks basically all vertical. It is extremely easy to control, and combined with the fact that it has such a good range profile, you can effortlessly beam enemies across the map with this gun. So the UL not only has the best handling and mobility stats, it is also extremely accurate, paired up with an impressive range profile. And to be honest, it actually sounds way too overpowered at this point. However, there is one thing that holds it back, and this is its magazine capacity, which is the smallest in its class at just 30 rounds with 120 in reserve. It reloads in 1.84 seconds with an empty reload time of 1.8 seconds, which are actually very fast for an LMG, but is quite slow for a 30-round mag. Now, if you want, you can speed it up to 1.56 seconds with sleight of hand, but it is still quite slow for such mag size. We also have two magazine options, which are the 50-round reload and the 60-round reload. And the interesting part here is that none of these reduce our reload times. So for this reason, it is always better to use the 60-round mag, as you can take multiple encounters at once with a fast reload. And finally, for material penetration, this is again standard for LMGs, which you can further improve with FMJ if you want. But with that, we're done through all of the base stats of the UL736, and now's the time to see how to build it efficiently. So far, we've seen that the gun has the best in-class mobility as well as a very impressive 3-shot range profile. So my first build focuses on further improving its mobility and play it as an aggressive option. With this, we have the tactical suppressor for concealment, as the base range of the gun is already very good. We have the 12.4-inch light barrel, which improves all of our mobility stats, disable to slow down the enemies and improve tracking, granulated grip tape for BSA, and finally the 60-round mag, which is a necessary option on this weapon. With this, all of our mobility stats are improved, along with our ADS time, which is now very fast for an LMG. Our recoil is harmed very slightly, but that's still an extremely easy recoil to control, and that's basically the only downside that we have for this build. Needless to mention, our potential 3-shot range is 32 meters and our potential 4-shot range is 45 meters, which is very solid for a gun like this, as many of your engagements will be happening within that mark. However, I have an alternate variation of this build in which I'm using the lightweight silencer barrel, which gives us an integral suppressor and also improving our mobility stats. I'm also using the steady stock here to mitigate the flinch reduction from the barrel, and the rest 3 attachments are the same as the last build. With this, our mobility is almost the same as the last build, but since we don't get the ADS speed boost with that barrel, our ADS time is slightly slower than the last one, although it is very fast for an LMG. Our recoil is harmed a little more than the last one, but it is still a very learnable pattern. We also have a little 10% boost to our ranges, which brings our 3-shot range to 35 meters, while our 4-shot range is now a little under 50 meters. If you ask me, I'd still be preferring the first build because of its overall improvement to handling as well as mobility, but this build is mainly for those who like to use that silencer barrel. However, I have a third build, which is a little overkill in my opinion, but I call this as my long-range 3-shotter build, and I'll tell you why in a minute. With this, we have the monolithic suppressor and the 25.4-inch extended barrel to get the maximum range possible, steady stock to improve our stability, and finally the disable and the 60-round mags. And why I call this as my 3-shotter build is because with this, our 3-shot range becomes a staggering 49 meters, and this is the best 3-shot range that you can potentially find in the game with this rate of fire. And our 4-shot range is almost 70 meters, which basically covers every single line of sight that you can find in most of the 5v5 maps. This means you'll never be requiring a 5-shot kill as long as you'll keep yourself on target. This is actually a true LMG build because all of our handling and mobility stats are now almost in the LMG territory. But at the flip side, you get a very low recoil as well as a 60-round mag with a quick reload. This is one of the only builds that comes with such a complete package, so if you haven't tried it yet, I'd highly recommend you to give particularly this one a shot, because 49 meters of potential 3-shot is definitely no joke. But with that, that is going to wrap up on today's breakdown on the UL736. When it comes to my thoughts, I believe that this is a criminally underrated LMG which actually has has a ton of potential in the current state of the game. I know I've said this a number of times, but its best-in-class mobility paired with a very good range profile and good accuracy actually makes it very unique compared to any other weapon in the game. Now, of course, it does have a below-average mag size and a slow rate of fire, but those are the only things which are keeping in check, and even with those drawbacks, I still think that this is an extremely strong option in the current meta if you can keep yourself on target with this gun.
But of course, those were my thoughts, and now I'd love to hear what you guys think of the UL736. Have you given the gun a try after it got buffed in this season? And were you already aware of its such a high potential? Or you might want to give this a try after hearing today what it can potentially achieve. Just let all those thoughts in the comment section down below. In case if you've missed any of my previous gun guides, I'll leave the links to the playlists in the description of this video. If you want builds for all the weapons, then join my Discord server. Also, if you want to support me, then become a channel member and gain exclusive perks at a very cheap rate. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to see future content and leave a like on this video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.